how can they feel right now? I
Yeah.
can't even imagine, to be honest.
I mean, I've been seeing people hold up in metro stations all over Kiev today. But of course, I mean, Kiev has a metro system. I mean, if you go to towns like Kherson or well, I mean, even in Lvov, which is just short of the Polish border, there were clashes. We've seen the Russians trying to invade Kiev today. You know, I mean, how can you really have a normal day after hearing all this stuff going? For some of us, it's literally the next country along. And for some, it really brings back bad memories of how it used to be pre pre the fall of the Berlin Wall. I mean, I'm a boomer, so I've been alive for long enough to have seen that happen. The fall of the wall, and that was considered to be the end of it. The end of Russian imperialism. And what we saw today is this massive, this massive resurgence of Russia as a threat to the region. I mean, I tried to go about my day as well as much as normally possible. I had 2 meetings in the morning, and after that I had to pick up the kids, and there was all kinds of things going on, and you know the whole day you're thinking to yourself, how what only a few hundred kilometers away, people are dying, people are losing their lives right now. Because of the senseless act, basically the senseless act of allowing a dictator to do basically what he wants, and for too long, really. I
Yeah,
mean,
this is, you were saying earlier that we uh, woke up to the Russian aggression,
yeah,
to Russia going back to want to become an empire.
yeah,
But if you think about it, it's not like it was a shock in itself as something new. This was growing. It has been growing since 2014, pretty much. Since back then, it has always been growing and growing. The international community, you could argue, did not do enough. Maybe it did what it could. The thing is, uh, until yesterday, uh, pretty much everywhere around Europe, it wasn't about um, how to win against Russia or whatever, or anything along those lines.
mm,
Really, it was how do we get peace.
yeah,
It wasn't. It was just that we just wanted peace.
mm,
Now it starts to become a bit different. Now honestly the only people that can ask for peace are Russian people,
yeah,
because let's be honest, on our side, even if we ask for peace, it's not like Russia is going to stop. And even then, it's not like it. Let's say Russia does stop
yeah,
tomorrow. Then what happens? It's not like you can pretend what happened today didn't happen, for
mm,
example.
yeah,
So that ship has sailed. Like if you are Ukraine, you don't want peace at this point. You
mm,
want to win the war.
yeah,
So it starts to be a lot harder to deal with it.
mm,
And there is something that I think it's really important for us to remember that, and I think Ursula von der Leyen put it quite well in her statement. If you read there, she's never attacking Russia, really.
yeah.
It's always about Putin because that's how it is. He's a dictator there. There are oligarchs supporting him, and free elections are not something they really have there.
For a long time now, I mean, we've seen Putin change the laws in his favor so many times now. The first time was quote unquote amusing. But we all know what Russia is right now. It's
Yeah,
basically a kleptocracy. So
and when the rules he put in place are not even enough, what he
mm,
does is poison his opponents, as we very well know. So that's why Ursula von der Leyen said Putin started this war.
yeah,
It's not necessarily Russia. I mean, obviously, there are going to be some Russian people that are for it,
yeah,
but the truth is there are a lot that are against. And even those that are for it, I think you can't fully uh, blame them. if you think about where they're living, the environment where there is only propaganda, it's not exactly a free place there, is
No,
it?
no.
So
I mean,
it's
it's kind of dualistic because as long as you don't make a fuss, then they leave you alone. That's the kind of idea that I get. That's been going on there. But if you do make a fuss, I mean, we saw today, protests over the whole of Russia, but they were all quickly quashed by the police. There's a picture that I saw today from Saint Petersburg, which was very ominous. Which is basically just the Russian police just standing ready to storm or to cut anyone off that would start to protest. Also, there's a law in place at the moment in Russia that you can only protest on your own, not in groups. So I mean, as soon as two people show up, it's a group, and
yeah,
that's it basically. The police will step in and they will
and
arrest you.
you can't really mm, complain about the war.
Yeah,
That's illegal right now. So not exactly as you were saying earlier, a free place.
yeah, yeah. It's
So
it's yeah. So oh shit, here we are. I mean, it's very it's I'm as someone who who holds the European culture of peace in high regard. This was a big blow for me. We were all joking about it the last weeks. Oh yeah, Russia, Ukraine. They know they can't get it. They can't. They know the NATO won't agree with them. This is just a political game, but it's turned really real today. And the first pictures of wounded and dead people coming out on Twitter, that really puts it forward to you. This is not a game anymore. This is not a political game. I think someone said it really well. Putin is now prosecuting political his political goals with military means. And as soon as you do that, you enter into a completely different world. This is Europe's 9/11, basically. I think anyone who's living in the east of Europe, especially whose fathers and mothers and grandfathers have had to live under communism, I think for them it's especially hard to see this. And I believe today was also the Latvian Independence Day, wasn't it?
I think Estonia.
Yeah. Oh, Estonia was it? I
I
mean,
think you're right.
what a day, to have something like that. It's absolutely incredible.
Yes, Estonian Independence Day is today.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
a bit on the nose there.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing we always say in our Eurocast on Saturdays is we know nothing. We are just two commentators who try to see, who try to kind of make sense of the world as we see it week by week. But this is on a different. I think everyone in Europe, bar a few, have no idea what war is. To see something like that, I mean, we've seen Syria, right? We've seen that from a distance, but this is right on our doorstep, and I think that really brings it home to us as Europeans. Today as well, we've seen lots of responses from our politicians. The EU, the European Council, which is the 27 leaders of 27 member states, plus the president of the Commission and our foreign minister, Josep Borrell. They're having a meeting at the moment. Looks like the sanction package that will be put on Russia will be significant. It won't include the SWIFT banking system they're keeping that basically back as the nuclear option. We'll hear more of that. I mean, the discussions. I don't know how long the discussions will take. Because there's 27 leaders in the room. Everyone wants to have their say. We'll that
Yeah, it's
that
probably
will
going to take a while.
it'll take until midnight probably. As soon as that comes out, I mean, we'll finally know. Biden has already kind of taken the pressure off the European Council by saying, the SWIFT banking system is not on the table as of yet.
Yeah, just to make it be a bit clear there, Biden said it's not on the table because Europe didn't
Yeah.
back that solution.
Mm.
So, as far as we know, the council is not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, never say never, I guess.
Mm.
It's not like they can't change their mind.
Yeah.
And
Well.
to be honest, by the way, in the way Biden said that, it sounded like he wasn't necessarily against it.
Yeah.
So I think it's mostly in Europe there.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about the SWIFT banking system is that it's US run. So Biden could just press the button if he wanted to, right? He doesn't need the agreement of the 27 leaders. But I think it's very telling that he wants to do things in coordination with his allies, and that he sees the EU as a mature negotiating partner in that.
Yeah, it's one of the main things when it comes to this crisis here. The EU, NATO, the US, they're trying to be coordinated
Yeah.
to show strength on this side.
Mm.
I mean, Biden went quite clearly said not even an inch,
Yeah.
which I mean, the Americans, so it's not a centimeter, but
God damn it, Biden! Can't you just? I know. But yeah.
but yeah, he said even not even an inch would be of NATO soil would
Mm.
be given,
Yeah.
and the full force of the alliance would be used in that case.
Yeah.
Which this is something on our forum. Some people were talking about it, and I think it's an interesting discussion
Mm.
about what this even means for countries not in NATO.
Yeah.
Is Finland going to join, for example? I mean, obviously they are part of the EU, so it's not like if Russia invades Finland, we would not do anything because it's still part of the EU, and
Yeah.
the EU does have some defense clauses in there as well.
Yeah. Exactly.
But I imagine NATO is going to pressure, like try to have Finland join as well, because I mean
Yeah.
there is no better
Yeah. Actually,
publicity
tomorrow
for NATO than
they will be having a meeting. A online summit, an online NATO summit, and Sweden and Finland will be there. So
yeah. I mean,
that will be definitely interesting.
if Russia wanted Sweden and Finland to not join NATO,
Mm.
this was the only thing they could do to make them want to join.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a done deal, right? But the fact that they're being invited already to this council already means a lot, since I mean, it's NATO. There's the Partnership for Peace, which kind of surrounds NATO, which I believe Finland and Sweden are both part of, together with Austria and Ireland. Out of the EU countries anyway.
And
The rest is all in
actually,
NATO, of course. But so two of those four are now definitely want in.
and to be honest, the response from the EU has been quite strong. Like
Yeah.
I think on at least it has been as strong as we would have hoped for.
Yeah.
Considering all its limits, obviously, we had even Ireland saying they are not neutral on this. So even the Irish neutrality is a stake, let's say. Like they are even that's out of the window when war breaks out in Europe. So I mean, this is a bit more of national politics as well. But if you look at far right parties around Europe, most of them have denounced Putin.
Yeah.
Some took longer than others, but even the far right, which is usually the side that has closer ties with Putin, even they have gone against him.
Yeah.
Even Hungary, Orban has denounced Putin, which it wasn't as an obvious thing. It makes sense, but the thing that the 27 member states are united, it makes sense, but it's not something necessarily that was obviously going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Exactly. I mean, it's I mean, today is not over. Let's say put it like that. Today is the first day of the invasion. and we've seen battles all day. You know, there will be will be more developments on this for sure. You know,
Let's talk a bit before we. I think in a while we're going to give. We're going to see what you guys think about it,
yeah.
your opinions, because ours are not. Me and Snor's opinion are not that great. So,
How
but
dare
before we go
you?
there, yeah, before we go there, let's talk a bit about what we are doing about this situation right now.
Mm,
So the EU has mostly, I think, two measures: the humanitarian side of things, all borders, including Poland, Hungary, the, the countries that you would not expect
mm.
to open borders. They have gone on record saying they are opening the borders to Russian, to Ukrainian
Refugees.
refugees.
Yeah.
So um, that's a good sign.
Mm,
It was not even that, especially from Hungary. It was not necessarily something that we were expecting.
no.
So it's nice that we are getting that. And on the other side, we are getting economic sanctions, which are going to be the biggest ever.
Mm,
We don't. We know that SWIFT is not there, but we don't know the full extension of the
yeah.
sanctions. Some members of parties, groups like ALDE, Renew Europe, they want SWIFT and they want full-on economical war
Yeah.
against
That's
Russia.
that was
So
the quote, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
yes, so um, obviously the thing is, as anything when it comes to politics, even if we all agree that Russia is the aggressor and we should do something about it, what that something is, not everyone agrees.
Yeah.
So that's why we are having this council meeting tonight, and they are going to decide on the first round of sanctions. And doesn't even necessarily mean that these are the last rounds of sanctions.
Yeah.
Obviously, the thing about sanctions, they're not going to stop Putin.
Mm,
It's not like sanctions are there to stop it tomorrow or
no.
whatever. It's to erode his power, to
Yeah.
have oligarchs turn against him, to have the Russian people turn against him.
Mm,
That's what sanctions are for.
exactly.
So it's not.
Exactly.
It's going to take a while
Yeah.
if they work.
Yeah. Sanctions. I mean. Let's be honest. Sanctions are the only way that we can intervene without starting our own military adventurism. It's very, during his speech last night, Putin basically intimated that anyone who would touch Russia would get the full force of their nuclear arsenal put against them. That is not something that NATO is willing to compromise on. We are not going to be the aggressor in this. So sanctions are the way to go for us. Of course, individual member states have been providing military aid to Ukraine in the form of weapon shipments, and the EU has also put forward a 1.2 billion euros. Just basically, a blank check to do with what they want. So the Ukraine is getting support from European member states individually, but there will be no troops on the ground. So the sanctions are the only way to do it.
Which
It's yeah.
about that,
Mhm.
I think it probably. I imagine most people, at least I am in this case, are conflicted. On one side, I think we would like to help Ukraine more concretely.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you don't really want a full-on World War III to break out.
Mm.
So I think we can get back to our usual suspect of it's complicated. We
Yeah.
like to say that a lot in the
Yeah.
Eurocast.
That's
It's
right.
really complicated here. Uh, this is a war happening right
Mm.
now. Like, we are not even used to those here in Europe. People are going to start hating other people.
Mm.
For example, people are going to start hating Russians,
Yeah.
which I think on one hand can be sometimes can make sense. Like, I can understand hating someone invading your country.
Yeah.
You know. On the other hand, there are Russians which are not supporting this.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's very hard for us
It's
to say which percentage of Russians supports this, of course. But the point is that you should separate the people from the government, and especially in Russia at the moment, the government has done basically the media campaign has been muted as far as I mean, hasn't been totally engaged for Russia on this war. The pretext for war is flimsy at best. This is Putin's war, not the Russian people's war. That's the impression
yeah,
I'm getting.
yeah,
You know,
that's for sure.
people are
And that goes
shocked.
back
People are
to,
shocked at the moment. I'm shocked.
I mean, for sure.
Yeah,
The thing is, we knew it was possible, but we were not, we didn't really understand. I think, to be honest, we're still not fully understanding it. It's really hard to grasp it. It's
yeah,
going to take a while for us to grasp, I think, because it's such a big thing. It's one of those things that you read in history books,
yeah,
It's when
yeah.
you
Or
read
see from
World
afar. I
War
mean, we've
II.
seen Iraq, we've seen Syria, we've seen Afghanistan. But those are
They are far
theaters
away,
of war that are far away, are
and
different.
they're not really wars against major powers,
Mm,
and they're usually, it's more like a proxy thing.
yeah,
It's quite different compared to this, isn't it?
yeah,
This
yeah,
is like, I imagine in 50 years, whatever, 100 years, people are going to say, yeah, this is the date where the
yeah,
big war in Europe started.
yeah,
Uh, it has been a bit more than 100 years by now that we didn't have any war in Europe, so this is when the counter resets.
yeah,
So it's hard to fully um, understand it, like fully comprehend it. But yeah, it's going to take a while for us,
yeah,
and to understand it a bit better, what we can do is to have other people join us.
yeah, yeah,
See,
yeah. I think so.
so
Nice segue, by the way.
yeah, I
Yeah.
always try.
Let's start inviting people then. People that are listening, you can raise your hand in the chat, in the interface. It's a little hand. We will pick you out if you have something to say. Make sure your mic's on, and be respectful, please. It's a sad day for Europe. So we'll start with iridium carbide. Let's see. Are you there, iridium? Let's see. Don't think he's responding right now. Okay, he's stopped that. Oh, I see. I usually I pick people by the karma level, but I see someone here who I definitely want to speak to. That's Liggett. I've spoken to him last week. Liggett, come on in. Hi, Liggett.
Hello.
You'll have to turn your mic on, I
Oh,
believe.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Hello, hello.
Keep
Welcome
forgetting,
back,
keep forgetting
Liggett.
this.
Nice to speak to you again on this.
Hi. Yes. Thank you again. Thank you. And let me start with apologies. I'm a Russian national,
Mhm.
and honestly, I'm feeling worse than you can imagine about this whole thing happening.
Mm.
Russia doing this thing,
Yeah.
threatening the peace in Europe. I mean, a lot of people feel as awful as you can imagine.
Yeah, yeah, it's not a good day. I mean, when you woke up this morning, what was your first thought? I mean, you know, um,
Yeah, I very much followed the American news and what Americans said about this whole situation, and I also tried to pick up the evidence that they offered for the incoming invasion. And actually, Biden was really concrete. I think yesterday or the day before, he actually named why they think that the invasion is coming. The assault ships, the attack missile systems
mm,
in somewhere on the border, etc.
yeah,
So it was very believable, and really, I was living in a just expectation. It was not a question of whether,
mm,
it was a question of when,
when,
really.
yes. And still it shocks you, doesn't it? I mean,
It does, it does,
yeah,
it does, it does.
it's
Like
you
like
know, yeah. Go on.
Yeah, sorry. Let me just add one detail. I'm going to vacation tomorrow with a family from Ukraine. So
Oh
so that's
wow, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So that's gonna be
So
awkward, you know.
yeah, well, it's not awkward. They know
Yeah,
what we stand for. They know our opinion.
yeah,
But I'm talking to the guy today, saying I apologize. We are
yeah,
not, etc. And he was telling me like his parents
mm,
in the middle of Ukraine, not on the border, not in the
mm,
Donetsk region, nowhere near. They are seeing the bombardment happening in the military town next to them. He's
yeah,
afraid for his parents in the middle of the country. This is amazing.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's the first that's the first thing I heard today. That's
Wow, you know,
awful.
I mean that is hard. That is hard to take. You know, I mean, I hope your friend is going to be all right. You know, because something like this, you know, it shocks us. But you know, how awful is it if you have family there or if you live there? You know,
Yeah,
it's incredibly bad. I mean,
absolutely.
the thing is, I mean, we've spoken about it before. You know how Russian people kind of view this happening. Did you in the last few days also have a sense that other people were thinking like this is gonna be it, you know, or did you have a sense that most people were like, you know, oh whatever, you know, and that they're now really paying attention all of a sudden?
Yeah. A lot of people thought that Putin wants to do a few things instead of invading. So there were different hypotheses, let's say. One was a very prominent theory was that he just wants to sort of suffocate economically Ukraine, because Ukraine once the threat, let's say, of invasion came, I think Ukraine started to lose whatever investments, foreign
Yeah,
investments
yeah,
they
yeah,
had.
yeah,
So one theory was that he just wants to kind of start, getting Ukraine suffocated from that economically.
yeah.
The other thing was that it's only Donbas region that he wants to sort of, I don't know,
Yeah, yeah,
conquer is a,
yeah. The
is a good
Don
word. I don't know.
exactly the
Yeah,
Donbass Oblast, basically. You know, I mean,
yeah,
that
yeah,
was his when he made his speech, his first speech 2 days ago now. He basically said, you know, that the borders of the Donbass Oblast was the new, you know, was what he was signed on for,
yeah,
with the with
yeah,
the LNR and DNR
yeah,
republics. I mean, it's
yeah,
it's it's such it's such a bizarre situation, isn't it? I mean, this is to me this is the first war that is being completely broadcast over the internet. I mean, I've been seeing so many videos today of things going on. You know, attacks from both sides. You know, I mean, I'm sure you have as well. You know, so
yeah,
I mean, when you see these pictures, you know, I mean, it really does something to you, you know, because it's no longer oh it's in Syria or you know it's far away. No, it's you and it's you know it's a personal thing all of a sudden.
yeah, yeah,
I think you know it's to me today was a very weird day. Just to put it
yeah,
like that, you know. I mean, I'm not trying to make light of it or anything, but you know,
yeah.
this is a day I think we'll all remember where we were when we heard it, you know.
Yeah.
So
Maybe to add to what Dante Zak mentioned on
mhm.
the measures, as in kind of we have this choice of either going to war as a Europe. I mean, sorry, I'm speaking on behalf of Europe.
Yeah, yeah,
Either to military, let's say, opposed to this, which is extremely dangerous. This
yeah,
is a nuclear threat, which we really should avoid. I mean, this would be a disaster on a really different scale. But the other one is the let's say embargo and other sanctions.
mm,
But one thing that comes to mind, just to comment on that, is that actually some like I just came back from the protests in the city where I am in
oh
Den
yeah,
Haag in the Hague,
oh very good.
and yeah, and a lot of people, Russians, Ukrainian, they just think that the sanctions are really not sufficient. I mean, the level of sanctions is not
Mm.
sufficient. The whole thing should be under like a dome, like
Yeah,
nothing
yeah,
should go in and out. So that's one thing, and that's at least the emotional feeling that I get, is that maybe that's a better way than whatever Biden came up today with.
yeah, yeah,
And the
yeah,
second thing, Yeah, and the second thing is that the what really can help in also swaying the opinion within Russia
Mm.
is putting China on the side of the European countries, and
Yeah.
that did not happen yet. So if that happens, that would be a turn of event. I mean, also from the kind of emotional
Mm.
standpoint, even for the elites that support Russia, if China switches sides,
Yeah.
or at least will be concrete about which side it's on,
Mm.
that will really change the disposition.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was speculating about this as well, because I mean, what one we this morning when we woke up, not only was the thing in between Russia and Ukraine going on, but China also violated the economic zone of Taiwan a number of
Mm.
times, uh, and that was a scary moment. But it seems like China is hedging its bets at the moment. I don't think it will
Mm.
commit quickly. I mean,
When it comes to China, they did go like they are not fully against Russia. I guess you could say
yeah,
they're not throwing their full weight, but they are not on their side on this
mm,
one. They went on about the international order and how this is not acceptable,
mm,
and it makes sense if you think about how China does things.
yeah,
They are not necessarily too much into expansionism
mm,
unless it's their own pocket in there,
yeah,
but they are not necessarily pro that.
mm,
So but they're not fully against Russia either, so it's they're not like putting sanctions, for
yeah.
example.
I mean, we
And
saw.
going to
Yeah, sorry.
yeah, going on the sanctions part, to be honest, I fully understand how the Russian people and Ukrainians feel. I mean, the ones that want the war to end,
Mm,
because to some degree, I feel the same. Like, you want those sanctions to be as hard as possible. You would want to put to make Russia become, let's say, like North Korea, where we don't do anything with them.
mm,
It's everything blocked. But on the other side, you have to remember and that this is going to be an economic war of attrition. Let's put
mm,
it that way. The
yeah,
thing is, you can do big sanctions, sure, but we all know what happens after that. Gas prices are going to go up. People might, and the thing is, who is going to be the first one to complain? People in the Western countries or people in Russia? And you have to remember that people in Russia have to do a lot more noise before something happens compared to what is the West, because we have democracies here.
yeah,
So you have to put on a balance between putting the best sanctions that you can do to hurt Russia while trying to minimize the damage to your own economy,
yeah,
to make it so people in your country don't go against you. Because especially if you think about the US, there are a lot of people in the US that are going they're saying, I don't even know where Ukraine is. Why
mm,
should I pay double the price for
yeah.
my
I mean,
gas,
the
for my
support for
petrol?
I've seen the polls on this. The support for the sanctions so far is about 63% in the United States. It's way above 70% in most European states. So I
Yes,
mean,
but
it's still okay, but this will go hurt, and especially in Europe. We are I
the
believe.
thing about that though is that I think it's a bit misleading because uh, if you ask in Europe who is for sanctions against Russia, just sanctions. Sure, everyone is for that. But then it depends on what kind of sanctions. What happens to me? Do I pay more? Do my bills are they higher? Can I even pay my bills at the end of the month? If people around Europe can't even pay their electricity bill because of that, are they still going to be on board? Uh, are they going to be okay with paying for that? Is that something that people care enough about?
Yeah,
Some, sure. Some other, they are on the brink, I would imagine. Some less. So it's about having a balance where you have enough people for that.
yeah,
And
yeah,
this is why we are just here talking about it. Meanwhile, the experts are trying hopefully to do
yeah,
the best they can.
yeah. I mean,
While
yeah,
obviously you have to remember it's a unanimity vote as well. So you have
Mm,
to have 27 member states on board.
mm.
So
Yeah,
it's really complicated to get something done.
yeah.
I personally would like something really big, but I understand that maybe it's not possible either.
Mm. I mean,
So
I think, I talked about how shocking it was. I think the shock will have also reverberated through tacit supporters of Putin within the European Union's member states. It was very quiet on the far right side today, right? They were
yeah,
very
no,
very quiet here in Europe. Nobody talked about anything. I think the IND. This is something that someone basically wrote down for me. The IND hasn't mentioned anything on their official channels, so that's the independent group in the European Parliament. It does say it doesn't want to get rid of the unanimity on foreign affairs issues, right? And it wished Estonia a happy Independence Day. So the far right is very quiet. I think most people were very shocked by this, and the politicians as well. So I mean, we know that, for example, Orban went to visit Putin on his own to ask for extra gas. While this was all going on, while the Europeans were trying to form a concerted sanction policy for just in case there would be an invasion, right?
yeah,
But I think even he will be hard pressed to defend this at the moment. And it is a blatant violation of international law. What Putin did is basically declare Ukraine his. His most foreign policy experts that I've kind of been following today have been saying that his end goal will probably be regime change in Kiev, and of course the annexation of anything east of the Dnieper River. Um, and I think he's going to be very hard put to do this. Ukraine has of course been ready for this, but I don't think he can keep that up in the face of international sanctions. This will really hurt Russia. And for Liggett, for you, I feel you said you apologize. I think we should apologize in advance for what we're about to do to Russia, because these economic sanctions will basically break the country. One way or another. This will be targeted towards not just the elites, let's say.
yeah,
And
this is going
yeah,
to target
Yeah.
everyone.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, well, in my view, this is completely justified.
mm,
While the invasion, of course, today's invasion is absolutely not. Well, so yeah, no, I don't think there's anything to
yeah.
apologize for.
Yeah, I know, but
Uh,
still, it's this is this is it's kind of weird because we live in the internet age, and I can talk to someone from all over the world. I can talk to Russians, I can talk to Italians, and we can get their instant opinions on things, and you start to feel kind of responsible for you feel the need to defend your country and to defend your way of life, right? And when that kind of clashes in such a moment, it's very kind of hard to not feel some kind of responsibility towards the other party.
yeah. This this whole collective responsibility question is actually also a very interesting
Mm,
one in Russia now as well. There's plenty of people who are vocal about being against the war now, kind of from the elite,
yeah.
sport elite, musicians, etc., etc.
Mm,
But and the names are known. They've always been vocal. Some of them are new names, etc. But the funny thing is that 99% of the elite, even the ones who don't have anything to lose, like
yeah.
they extremely rich, they wouldn't be jailed because they are very public people. Putin would never dare to jail this sort of person. They are quiet. 99% are still quiet.
Mm,
So naturally, you come to the question of like, okay, this is happening because people let it happen,
mm,
even if they don't support it,
yeah.
they don't say anything against. So there should be some sort of collective responsibility for these
Mm,
actions, which sanctions would bring,
yeah.
right? So this sort of thoughts.
Yeah, maybe this will give him a push. Is also a possibility. I mean, it's very hard to say because this is a new age. We live in a new world. We've progressed from from pre-COVID to post-COVID. Now from pre-Ukraine Russia to post-Ukraine Russia, basically. How are we going to solve this? And it's going to be such a
It's funny that you use the word progressed since we went back.
Yeah.
How many years? 70.
Yeah.
When the Cold War started.
Now this is a joke between me and Dante because basically we've had the 1900 pandemic now, and now we're just fast forwarding through the World War era, and at one point 80s style hair will become popular again, guys.
Yeah.
But thank you very much, Liggett. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks for letting me speak.
Yeah, no worries, man. I saw your name. I was like, that's the guy we need. So hang on, stick around, and of course, I hope to see you on Sunday again. See you later.
Sure. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Let's see. Of course, there's still people hanging in the chat. I think for some reason my client's been problematic at the moment. Can you see anyone that's being invited? I think that's it.
I do, but I'm not sure how to get people on board. Okay. So I think only you can do that.
Wait, let me just see. No, here you go. I've added you as host. Guys, this is all. Europe. The Reddit talk feature is experimental so far. We have the privilege to be able to test it out. And we're gonna see if we can fix this. So anyway, we've talked with Liggett now. One of the things that is super interesting is the UN reaction to this. I wasn't expecting the UN to get as involved as they were, but there were 2 UN sessions, right? One UN session was on just pre-invasion, and the other one was during the invasion. And the speeches by the UN representatives, for example, for Albania and Kenya, were very, very well put. And you can see that there was a map today on Twitter which showed how people, which countries had basically condemned this, and much of the world has basically condemned it straight away. Everyone was basically watching it, and I think we often talk shit about the UN. Let's be honest, right?
Always, you mean?
Yeah, basically always. But it basically it was a high stakes game, and it was interesting to see. The ironic thing was that this year Russia is the head of the Security Council. So they are the ones that have to open the talk. And you just saw how incredibly uncomfortable the ambassador was with that. Today was slightly different, yesterday now, in that the Ukrainian representative actually, firstly he he countered what the Russian representative was saying by showing his mobile phone and going, "Look, it's really happening," which was quite dramatic moment. And he also said that there is no purgatory for war criminals. You go straight to hell. And I thought those 2 quotes, those 2 moments of last night, will always be part of a part of this conflict as well. And I think like I said, is the amount of people that that watching this stuff, this is a world show now, people are intensely paying attention. I think to me this will also be a big part of it.
Honestly, the thing is, when it comes to the UN itself can't do anything because Russia has
Yeah.
the Security Council seat, so nothing
True.
can be done there.
Yeah.
The UN can be a place where countries can talk, but are they going to just talk and offer thoughts and prayers, or are they going to put sanctions as well? Because we have been talking about the EU and the US,
Yeah.
but it's not like we are the only ones outraged at it. Like the thing is, we are in theory we are not even allied with Ukraine. It's not like we are part of the same alliance. So there's nothing stopping South American countries
Yeah.
or African countries or Asian countries from imposing sanctions on their own. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the world is going to react, because what NATO, the US, the EU, what we have been doing, I think it's in line with what we were expecting,
Yeah.
at least what we were hoping. Because as we were saying earlier, it's not like it was a given. There were points where NATO was brain dead, if
Yeah.
someone remember, and not everyone knew if NATO was going to commit to uh, be against Russia.
Yeah.
And to be honest, we still don't fully know yet, although it sounds like we are. But what about the rest of the world? That's I think it's not like they're going to do that much. It's not like I don't think Ecuador has big
Yeah.
investments in Russia or whatever. But
Exactly. Or Kenya, or I mean, even the countries that are in the Security Council, that.
or there are some countries which are a bit more interesting, like Serbia. What
Yeah.
is Serbia going to do? Are they
True.
going to be on Russia's side? Because there
Yeah.
are some countries that are under the Russian sphere. Are they going to uh, keep being there, or are they
Yeah.
going to go against Russia? So on that side, I think it's going to be an interesting thing. And
Yeah.
when it comes to the attack, there is something that I was listening to the radio when I was driving today, which it I think it's something that can make sense. So I think quite a few of us were thinking that maybe what Russia was going to do, maybe it was going to just attack the east, consolidate the borders there,
Yeah.
or do something, like Crimea, where it's just Crimea,
Yeah.
something along those lines. But then there is this point of view. What if they are doing now what they did in Crimea, but on a bigger scale? The thing about Crimea is their strategy was to go fast, get everything done as fast as possible, so the world doesn't have the time to organize, like literally the time to get to do meetings and stuff. It takes a few days at least, right? So the idea is to do everything as fast as possible, so the world has to deal with the thing is that's done. Now
Yeah.
you have to deal with the consequences. Now Russia, after it does everything, now it's on the table for discussions to do concessions and stuff. So the idea is to do that, what they did in Ukraine, sorry, in what they did back in 2014, but for the whole country.
Yeah.
So that's probably what Putin is trying to do.
Yeah. Exactly.
So if you look at it that way, I think it makes sense. Maybe at least I, wasn't thinking as that he was going to do a full-on attack on
Yeah.
everywhere. Maybe because I was just hoping that he wouldn't. But apparently, this is
Yeah. I mean,
where we are.
yeah, exactly. This is where we are. One thing we haven't talked about though is the collusion of Belarus in this, right?
Yes, we have not talked about that.
Yeah,
You're right.
because I mean, there's I've seen maps today of how much territory the Russians taken by about 6 o'clock in the evening, and there's the attack from Crimea towards Mariupol was expected, Also, the incursion at Chernobyl, where the last few weeks they've been building a bridge. That was quite. People were like, okay, they're going to go there.
Yeah.
And of course, from the Donetsk and Luhansk area, that there would be major fighting there if anything broke out. But the invasion that is now there's a two-pronged invasion now going towards Kiev from the north, from Belarus. Apparently, the Belarusian army is also involved in this. This is unconfirmed that the Belarusian army is involved in this, but the indications are there that they're very
Officially,
complicit
as
in
of
this.
now, Lukashenko is saying they are not involved.
Yeah, yeah,
But trusting Lukashenko on anything is a bit
yeah. It's a little bit, yeah.
so we don't know, I
Yeah.
guess. And if we want to talk about other countries there, Moldova, the Transnistria region there, Russian troops are there.
Yeah.
So Putin, while he's doing Ukraine, he's having a bit of fun elsewhere as well.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like winner takes all. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's going all in.
Yeah.
The man doesn't stop.
Yeah, it's super weird. It's what's going on there. I think the EU will definitely step on this, right? They will definitely step more on Belarus than they were already stepping on it. Anyone who's involved is basically, this was something that when Russia recognized the DNR and LNR republics, the EU already sanctioned all of the Russian Duma who agreed to this. All of those people have been sanctioned now.
Yeah.
But now it's going to, of course, go hard on hard, and this is going to hurt, guys. Just saying, if you're listening and you live in Europe, this is going to hurt your pocket a lot.
But
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
if you live anywhere, to be honest,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter where we live.
I mean,
Prices
yeah.
of gas, oil, they're going to ship.
And of
everywhere.
course, grain. Don't forget that Ukraine is a
grain as well.
major exporter of grain for Africa. Ukraine is also well known as the breadbasket of the world. I mean, that says enough. There are certain grains that Ukraine does very well in large quantities. So this will be a felt the world over.
If you want to go there, there are actually the thing about Russia. We talk usually about gas because it's the big one.
Yeah.
But we are reliant on Russia on quite a few other things.
Yeah.
Or Belarus. I don't remember the exact name of the substance. There is something that we use in agriculture, which Belarus was exporting a lot of.
Yeah.
And now, to still keep getting it even after sanctions, we are doing like backdoor deals, kinda. So, and the same thing that's happening there is true for Russia. There are things we get from Russia when it comes to to the agricultural sector. So, other than the whole like grain on itself coming from Ukraine and the grain that we get from Russia, because Russia exports quite a lot of grain as well.
Yeah.
There is the means to actually grow stuff here as well.
Yeah.
And there are other sectors which are going to be impacted. So this is going to hurt both of Russia and Europe and the world. It's not going to hurt just one person. Maybe the only person that's not going to get hurt out of this is Putin, to be honest, because as of now we are not putting sanction on Putin himself. I think hopefully that happens. To be honest, this is one of the things that I think we should do, because as of now, like I understand the reason why we have not done it yet until yesterday. The idea is to keep that as the nuclear option to keep going with talks and stuff, because I mean, if you sanction Putin himself, you can't go have talks with him, can you? But I think now is the time.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's going to be a long week. It's been a long day. I'm completely knackered. After seeing all this and seeing having all the emotions and all the rage and the fear, and seeing the fear and it's you know, this is a new world we live in, people. But I'd just like to mention that at the moment we're having a nice chat. The Reddit client is broken because, you know, like I said, the this is an experimental feature by Reddit. Expect more changes. So, you know, I can't actually invite more people to talk right now. So, you know, and it's 2200. I mean, we've done an hour, haven't we?
Yeah,
You
we
know,
did.
yeah.
So,
So
as you guys saw, this was a bit of a bit
Yeah.
more rambling than usually. But the thing is, all of us are a bit in shock here. It's a bit
Yeah.
hard to gather all our thoughts.
What do you mean a bit more rambling, dude? You know, the Eurocast is so much worse.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you want to see something worse,
Yeah, if you want to see
can
something
join us.
worse, come on Saturday. You know.
Yeah, can join us on Saturday
yeah,
on
yeah,
the Twitch channel,
yeah.
on the network,
Yeah.
and everywhere else.
Exactly. You know, if you also want to chat about this stuff, you know, either you know, with like-minded people, come to Forum Godfunken. We're there. You know, we follow the news, and you know, I mean, we'll be back. We'll be back this Sunday.
Yeah. So Saturday, 10 o'clock, Central European Time.
Yeah.
FG Eurocast on Twitch. That's the channel, or on the Discord.
Yeah, exactly.
Wherever you want.
And Sunday, us here on the Europe Talk. You know, so see you guys later, and have a good night, have a good rest, I should say, and switch off the TV for a while. So thanks very much, guys. Have a good night.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.